Now, continuing the military theme, a man who had us waking up at the crack of dawn on the stag do, rather like an army exercise for activities, I give you Captain Angus Haig. Royal Marines, affectionately known as Goose, the best man.
Can everyone hear me? Yeah. So thank you, Sam, for the introductions, and I would just like to start with some thank yous. So thank you to Michael and Fiona, Nigel and Katie for all of the effort and planning that has gone into making this such a wonderful day for everyone so far. So if everyone could raise a glass. Now, when Matt, also known as Doof,
That's the first time I've heard. Thank God.
asked me to be his best man, I was honoured. But I couldn't shake an overwhelming sense of trepidation, because what he had really asked of me was to condense a relationship lasting almost a decade that had activities ranging from the tame to the borderline illegal, and make it into a speech that was palatable for this evening. A somewhat daunting task. Now, I first met Doof during our university careers at a series of house parties together, and so a seemingly instant friendship was formed. Or so I thought, as it later appeared that the man, who by this stage I considered a firm friend, had absolutely no recollection of the first few times he'd met me. Now, this is just an early blip in our relationship, and actually, from there, the steadfast, loyal, and loving man that I now know came to the fore. So, for a bit of context, I'm an only child, but I consider myself very fortunate to have a close-knit network of friends that perform the role of siblings. Now, Doof rapidly integrated into this circle, and this is perhaps best summarised by the fact that on leaving university, when my plans rapidly changed and I needed to wait a year to apply for another job, Doof was the first to offer me somewhere to stay. When I'd broken my leg at work and was confined to camp with COVID for a period of a year, Doof was always the first to check in and see how I was getting on. And he's always been the first to clear the diary, travel the length and breadth of the country for a series of parties from Aldershot to Arbroath. Now, as he's mentioned, some of these has ended up in us stumbling arm in arm back to the nearest kebab van. Some have ended in brief forays into the elusive sport of bar jumping. Now, I won't go into too many details, and it's probably best we steer clear due to the Waterworth family history of lower limb injuries prior to weddings. But I'm sure if you speak to him nicely, he may give you a demonstration later. On one particularly famous evening, we both woke up in my room at work together, in the same bed. Neither of us having any idea how we'd got there, and we actually had to look at our watches to see when we'd stopped walking to figure out quite when the night had ended. At which point, Doof rolled over to me and went, "All of your friends were quite lovely, but there was one particular bloke that, when I was chatting to him, I couldn't quite figure out whether he wanted to headbutt me or hug me. But other than that, yeah, they were all sound." So, from there, I move on to the topic of the stag, Barcelona. Now, the majority of what happened in Barcelona will stay in Barcelona, mostly because the memories are foggy. But it is in fact fortunate that we have Doof here with us this evening, following what can only be considered a borderline assassination attempt on the paintball field. The culprits are here with us this evening, although they shall remain nameless. And it's actually a testament to the friendship group that Doof took with him on his stag, that he isn't still in fact asleep somewhere on a bench in continental Europe, as he was dragged from a series of power naps to power naps. However, all of this talk of parties is perhaps a touch unfair, as I'm sure V will attest to. as when Doof turns around to her of an evening and says, "V, I'm off for a session with the boys." What he really means is he's going to wander next door, switch on his PlayStation, and spend 3 hours spreading democracy in a galaxy far away. Rather than going out, drinking 10 pints, and stumbling back very little at 4 a.m. Now, following a bit of research, it's become clear that this is the point in proceedings where I should be offering some marital advice. For those who know me in the room, I'm perhaps particularly underqualified to be doing so. So I'll steer clear and keep it brief with a quote from Mark Twain, which is that in order to get the full value of joy, you must have someone to divide it with. And it's clear to me over the last almost a decade of watching Doof and V spend time together that they do in fact get the full value of joy when they're spending time together. This is actually neatly summarised in a recent quote from the groom to me, which he probably didn't realise I picked up. But he turned to me and he said, "You know, there's only one woman in my life who I've successfully read the signs of her being interested in me, and I'm marrying her." Victoria, you look truly beautiful this evening, as Doof has already said, and I know just how much you mean to him, and I cannot wait to see where the journey of married life will take both of you. And so, with that being said, I'd like to ask you all to join me in a toast to the new bride and groom, Matthew and Victoria Waterworth.
Fantastic news. Thank you. Right, guys, all limber up and make